are back with the final 2 matches in this league. Sand is a bit risky. No quick 1-drop. Do have Earth Bolt into Rolling Vortex, so hopefully that'll be good enough against whatever we're up against. Eternal and Swamp, followed by Grief. Alright, so up against Scam for the 2nd time in this league. Presume the opponent's got to take Rift Bolt here. It's the only thing that interacts with whatever they're doing. This is one of the matchups where Rolling Vortex is particularly bad. So instead they take Rolling Vortex. That's interesting. Still think they gotta take Rift Bolt here. Opponent disagrees. This does give away a bit of information, but what's this for 3? So we might not be up against Scam. This might actually be mono black mid-range that Spike was working on. So we'll find out whenever they fetch here. Okay, so if I try Reanimator, perhaps? Just doesn't seem like a typical Scam or whatever situation. Alright, we could go Skullcrack plus Skewer here, but I think I'm just going to hold up Skullcrack. Pass. Solitude, perhaps. Certainly a magic card my opponent could have here. Yep, indeed they do have Solitude. Okay. Alright, and pass. Okay. Fury. Alright, so my opponent is attempting to play a deck with all three of the powerful elementals. So and okay, opponent keeps the stop and the draw step, which is mildly annoying. So opponent's a weird amalgamation of things. Sanctifier's probably still pretty good despite the presence of Solitude. Does make Vortex more interesting to leave in. I might slip out 3 vortices or vortices and maybe Lightning Helix just to even out the curve. Okay. Maybe we're supposed to board out Searing Blaze in some number. Alright, what's your scan opening? Alright, let's see if they have a Solitude. Looks like they don't, so. But it's going to be... Okay, they're fetching away their Furious George here. Okay, so they are some style of Reanimator. Furious George, furious little monkey. How to make my wife cringe as much as cringe can be. But looks like they are Mardu Reanimator, Priest of Fellrights, Solitude, Fury, and Grief. The question becomes is, can you get enough cards in your deck to make that plan worth it? Could get scammed here. So we need to be mindful because my opponent did not play a known prismatic ending on a Goblin Guide, which strongly suggests to me that they're going to try to ephemerate a Solitude here. So I'm going to offer up Goblin Guide as... I shouldn't even have played the Lava Spike, honestly. What I should have done here was... Oh, okay, they just had Fatal Push, sure. I was expecting to play around... Prismatic Ending will deal with this, unfortunately, but... Yeah, I was expecting, like... Flashed in Solitude Ephemerate, but Fatal Push also works. Scary part is this Bitter Reunion means they can give haste to their scammed out threats. So I do like what my opponent's deck is doing. I just don't know that it's consistent enough. So. Okay, once again, they refuse to solitude us. Not solitude us. Prismatic ending us. Still 99% sure they have in their hand. Alright, and pass. Okay, I finally cast the prismatic ending that we know about. This is a card that I wondered if they had in their hand. Pass the turn. I did marginally, unfortunately, punt there by bolting when I did. Because I suspected they might have Blossoming Column for some reason. They just seemed like the wonky deck that would run a card like that. Fable the Mirror Breaker, sure. Okay, I'm going to fetch during our upkeep. Block there, take 2. Your opponent has a Marsh Flats in hand. Discard 2 lands. Okay. Another Seasoned Spiromancer. I don't really know if their deck can support Archon, though. Pitch Grief in a land. Alright, so we gotta pay attention here to if our opponent chooses to ephemerate the Spyro or not. If they don't, there's a very good chance that they have another Blossoming Column in hand. If they don't really have a window to exploit between when they pitch their hand and when they draw 2 new cards, so. Okay, they do choose to do that. I think I should try to respond in this window, because that tells me they likely don't have... Alright, and we got there. Back for a second match, but the final match in this league. Points on the... We're on the play, which is nice. This hand just doesn't do enough on a 1-lander. This hand's not ideal, but I think we keep it. It's actually a distinct possibility I don't cast anything on 1 here. So, put back the basic for now. Alright, looks like we're up against Hammer, unfortunately. I could kill their protection creature here, but as far down as we are on resources, I think we just have to try to kill them before they can kill us, basically. Can't really afford to interact with their creatures, per se. Okay, so they're just more likely death and taxes than they are. Which I can't say much, because I'm working on a similar style deck in my free time. Okay, so it looks like they're the... Huh. Looks like they could be humans. Oh, it's just really weird to see a deck similar to what I've been working on off screen. Similar, but not the same. Okay. Alright, so... Can't actually cast that with Boromir in play. So... So Boromir makes it so we can't actually suspend Riftbolt. The reason I know this is because I'm working on it in a Winota deck. I can't tell if they're humans or if they're D&T. Because Giver of Runes could be played in either one. Hist for 5. Second Giver. Stoneforge Mystic. Looks like they're death and taxes. Yeah, Caldera complete means we're dead next turn, so we have no outs. So, play Goblin Guide. Block 3, take 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 7. Yeah, there's no one draw that gets us out of this situation, so. Alright, so we're up against death and taxes, basically. Ironically, this is one matchup where our sideboard may not have anything. Might be like as simple as one Vortex out, one Eidolon in on the play. And on the draw, we might bring in Deflecting Palm. Alright, this hand's going to be somewhat tricky to manage with all the non-creature spells going on with it. But yeah, it looks like we're up against a green-white variant of Death and Taxes that is using Leonin Arbiter in conjunction with Basagia. It was one of the lists I was studying when I've been working on my various okay, that's going to make Eidolon significantly worse. But I still think we deploy Eidolon here. I think we just let this happen. If they want to entirely rely on their looks like they're not Giver of Runes on one. Okay. Okay, why would you play action of another creature enters the battlefield under your control? Okay. It's like, why would you pay 2, but they're going to pay 2 to gain a little bit of life? Which makes some amount of sense, but not a ton. If I were you, I'd take this opportunity to get your Stoneforge Mystic into play, but you're not going to choose to do that, so... Land? Alright, Double Skullcrack might end this. Actually, I should have attacked with Goblin Guide there. Eh. Sword of Fire and Icicles. Got it. Okay, take your opportunity to gain a life. Possibly 2 if you have some type of flash threat. Which doesn't appear you do. Okay. That was actually dumb on my part. I forgot Oriok triggers on. So Smash to Smithereens gets a lot more interesting in the face of their equipment and Ether Vial. So I think I can afford to bore that Roiling Vortex against the all-creature deck. Deflecting Palm, a little bit less inviting against their deck in particular. But we'll try this setup. Alright, so we don't have a ton of creature interaction, but we do have a decent amount of pressure plus burn, so. And Smash potentially mess with them if they're on an Ether Vial hand. Which they're not. Problem it becomes if they have Leaning Arbiter on too. Same line as the Stout-Hearted, sure. Nope, they have Thalia, which is almost equally as annoying, honestly. So go. Okay, opponent has Boros. Hopefully we'll draw a land here. I guess Bolt also kind of works here. Opponent has another Boros. We get a 13, or they get a 13. Okay, another Boros, sure. Here comes Thalia. It's a 12. Land. We found a land. Okay. That was the problem with Lightning Helix there, but opponent's going to have an Ether Vial, which maybe we'll get lucky and they'll play, who knows. Okay, go to 9. Play Ether Vial. Nope, Stoneforge Mystic. Getting sort of bullshit and bullshit. Oh. Alright, so opponent's going to get a tap land. Pass. Alright, so they put in whatever equipment they're about to put in. Sword of Fire and Ice, sure. They play a Giver of Runes. We currently know their hand is Samwise, Ether Vial, one unknown that's clearly a non-land. Okay, so we do this, and then we do this, and unfortunately this is the problem with playing fair creature decks right now, is they're just not good. So yeah, back in a sec with a wrap. Alright, so we're back with a quick wrap with going 2-0 with those matches and 4-1 overall in the league. The last four leagues we've played with Burn, at least in the friendly leagues, we've gone 4-1 3 times and a 5-0 once. I think overall Burn in the current One Ring meta is in a fairly reasonable spot, as there's an overwhelming glut of arms race to beat 4-color Omnath nonsense. Which means a lot less hate for Burn, a lot more decks that Burn historically preys on, especially with the One Ring kind of bringing Tron back into the mix, creativity and Rhinos kind of being in an all-time low. The only two decks that really have seen decent amount of play that Burn is historically a dog to are Hammer and Amulet, and I don't think either one of those are seeing particularly high amounts of play. As far as the meta overall, if you're going to play a creature deck, it cannot be a fair creature deck. The days of tribal humans and tribal slivers and spirits and all these decks that are trying to do fair things just aren't good enough anymore. The humans decks that have succeeded in recent months have added things like Shining Shoal and not Shining Shoal, whatever the white shoal is, and Solitude as pitch spells in addition to their game plan. And even they haven't shown up very much. The Burn and Hammer, while they are technically creature fair decks, both operate on different axes than traditional aggro. They're not 100% reliant upon their creatures to do all the damage. Burn through the medium of direct damage spells, Hammer having obviously protection abilities, with 1 mana basically counter spells in the form of Blacksmith skill, Surge of Salvation, Spell Pierce, in addition to having the ability to go, oops, you're dead with Inkmoth Nexus or a couple of hammer hits on different creatures. A deck I've been working on, and I'm not quite ready to debut it yet, kind of takes some of those lessons to an extreme. Whether it's a good strategy or not, I don't know. The limited testing I've had with it so far has been promising, but I don't find fair creature decks to be operable in Modern. They're barely playable in Pioneer, and Pioneer is a lot weaker format in terms of good removal spells. There's no Solitudes, there's no Furies, there's no Unholy Heats, there's not even Lightning Bolt. You have Shocks and Bone Crusher Giants and Fatal Pushes and, that kind of stuff. So, if a format like Pioneer, which has quite a few of the good creatures that make most of the reasonable tribal decks in Modern available to it, and those decks still aren't seeing a huge swing in play, really should say something about, I think Wizards unfortunately has swung back the spell dynamic so much that creatures, unless they do something absurd, just don't cut it anymore. Sure, yeah, technically Solitude and Fury and all those they're creatures, but they're creatures with ETB abilities. They're not like Tarmogoyf for Death Shadow. They're not just big beefy boys that smack your face. They are things that come in and impact. Even if they die immediately, they have an impact. Burn, has largely morphed away from Eidolon for the very same reason. Your creatures have to have haste. Eidolon's cute and all, but when you have Leyline Bindings and Solitudes and Furies and all these different things to answer it, half the time Eidolon has no effect on the game. And the decks you absolutely want Eidolon against don't really exist much anymore. You have, Is It Murktide if you're on the play. You have, the Cascade decks. It's kind of good against. But, it's kind of that thing of where your creatures have to have an immediate impact or an impact when there's an opening, or they're useless. Sure, creatures like Sheoldred see some play, Urza see some play, but all of those can have a quick, if not immediate impact, especially when paired with the One Ring. Yawgmoth can have an immediate impact when it comes into play, as long as you have a reasonable board. Titan and Dryad have immediate impacts. Ability to play an extra land, ability to go get 2 lands. So even the creature decks that exist in the format all either have extreme resilience like Hammer with protection from abilities or protection spells and cheap counter interaction, for lack of a better term, or they do things when they enter the battlefield, or they have haste. So you're very limited in the creatures you can play, and Orcish Bowmasters has only made that worse. Even Ragavan is not quite as obnoxious as it was even a couple months ago. So Modern's in a weird place. Good-ish for Burn players. Don't know overall if the format is all that healthy right now, but I mean, there's a lot of decks that see play, but a good portion of them have the One Ring trademark stamped on their posterior. So that said, you know, Burn's in a good place, so Burn players should be happy. Whether Modern's at its most healthy that it's been in a while, kind of hard to say. I'll shake out the Pro Tour, see if any decks come out of that, any of that nonsense. So, yeah, if you like Burn content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you for next week's video.